The G Wade Podcast with Deacon Dirty.
Now, you moved to Queens. Any relation to Darren McDaniels?
Nah, it's funny you say that because Daryl DMC is adopted. I don't know if you ever saw his documentary on him, right? And so when he was looking to find out his background, he called me and asked me a few questions to see if I was related to him.
Related to him, yeah.
And there was no, all the questions that he asked was I couldn't relate to at all. So I said, nah. But people ask me that all the time. And it's funny that D, when he was trying to figure out his background, just started reaching out to people. And I was one of the first because my name was McDaniels.
Right. So at what point did you decide to transition? I mean, I know you're still DJ and I know you still, do radio and everything, but at what point did you say this hip hop thing is popping, it's bubbling, it's underground, but people need to see this thing, man?
That was when I went to college. You went to
LaGuardia?
No, yeah, I went to LaGuardia Community College first for 2 years. And then I went to New York Institute of Technology in Westbury, and that's where I got the TV and film stuff going. But LaGuardia put me on to working at TV stations. I started, and I tell people, and any of you viewers that trying to get into this business, they're young, that internship at one of those locations, it goes a long way, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because now you inside, you seeing how they moving in there.
Absolutely.
So I started working at these TV stations, and now I see how they make a TV show. Up to that point, I just watched it on TV.
Right.
I didn't know how it was made. Now I'm seeing, this is the way they do that. Oh, that's why they say this. So I started to understand, how it worked. And then my last internship was working at the station WNYC Channel 31. And that was where I got a job. They gave me a job after I graduated from school. And then one day I was sitting there and these tapes came in and they weren't music videos. They were like promotional things of the artist performing. Like, the artist might be performing in some room.
Right.
And I was like, yo, and it was black artists. And I was like, yo, this is crazy. Like, what is this for? And I said, we should make a show out of this. And everybody looked at me like I was crazy. Like, what are you talking about? It didn't exist. So nobody knew. Only thing we had back then was like Soul Train. And, Dick Clark, shows like that, And I said, look, I'm going to mess around with this. And I messed around with it for a couple of months. And then I took it to the program director and they said, they didn't get it. But they used it. We used to have these things, these fundraisers, it's like a public broadcasting station. So they have these fundraisers. And he was like, look, I want to use the videos for the fundraiser. So I gave it to them and they played it and mad people started calling as soon as they saw the video.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, that means that this has got some value to it.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And from there, I was like, okay, that put the battery in my back because up to that point it was just an idea, And so I was like, okay, let's go. And so we figured out to make an opening for the show, and then they came up with this other idea that they wanted to do. I didn't really like it, but I went along with it. And then after a year, they were like, it's not working out. I said, yo, let me do my own thing because I know why it's not working out. And they were like, all right. And so then I came back with this new idea, and it was called Video Music Box, and that was in 1983. So it's 37 years ago.
So Studio 31 was the actual show.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Now, was that concept kind of taken from like Soul Train and what was that?
No.
Bandstand?
Yeah, nah, it wasn't. It was all based upon these videos that were, I had kind of compiled it already, and it was just different stuff. It was random. Like somebody was in a studio performing. Then somebody was in a park performing. They weren't like scenes, like videos like them now.
Right.
It was just somebody with a camera and shot them, real basic.
Yeah.
But the songs were hot, and I didn't care. I was like, because I'm a DJ, I'm listening to the music,
Absolutely.
So, I just went and found the hottest ones I could find. And then when they did it, they were trying to make it like, it just didn't work. It didn't flow to me. Everything in my head is from a DJ's perspective.
Okay.
you know, like I'm like, we got to keep the dance floor crowded.
Right.
So where y'all doing it, people are walking off the floor. You know, we got to keep the dance floor crowded, and we got to keep it popping, you know, or it got to flow in some way. Got to have some kind of rhythm to it. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So they didn't do it like that. And I knew it wasn't going to work. So but when I did it more with a flow, and I talked on it.
Right.
And so that gave it something. So for the first 2 years of Video Music Box, you never even saw me. You just heard my voice.
Mm-hmm.
And then people said, you know, like, yo, you got to show your face because people are watching this, but they don't never see you. And I didn't want to be no celebrity or nothing like that, you know, where people saw me. So I was like, no, I'm good. I'm good. I don't need to do that. And so they were like, nah. And then in 1985, we recorded this concert called Fresh Fest.
Okay.
And Fresh Fest, I was there. You saw me. That was the first time anybody ever saw me at Fresh Fest. And that was Run DMC, Houdini, Grandmaster Flash, Fat Boys, and Young LL. He had like 2 records out at the time.
Matter of fact, I saw some of the video footage. The old school. Yeah, that was crazy. Seeing them then and knowing who they are now was crazy.
Yes. Yeah. But it all started. You know, it all started somewhere. You know, and that was the beginning. You know, even that concert. You know, like I just posted this thing on Twitter, where it's like a 360 version of that. You can see some of the stills of it and some of the footage from behind the scenes. So people are watching, they can check that out.